Hi, thank you for joining us today. Is my voice too loud, first of all? A little loud? Okay, Unified Service Desk, enabling a super agent. We're tremendously excited to walk out with you today with a ton of information about Unified Service Desk. I'm only going to take a couple of minutes because there's a lot of material we want to share with you, and I'm going to give the stage over to the actual experts that are going to deliver this capability for you today. Question, who saw the general session? Perfect. So you got a brief overview. People are calling me the voice of Oscar Giles, but that's okay. I'll take that. Who saw the CRM general session as well? Okay, so you got a little deeper. So basically, we're going to go just way deeper than that. Before we get started on that piece, I just wanted to establish a couple of things about Unified Service Desk. I think a lot of you have heard about it before in kind of different forms. So we're hoping this kind of level sets all of us into what we're bringing into market. We're very proud of it and what it can do. Okay? Unified Service Desk is really how we're looking at Unified Service Desk as a platform that enables capabilities for customer service agents. Right? We're bringing a lot of functionality. You saw some of that already in the keynote and the general session. But we're also opening that up to partners. So let's get going. With me today, Ashish Kothari is the program manager. He leads the team that is developing Unified Service Desk. He's here with us today. With me as well is Virag Shah. So these guys are the ones who know how the product works, so they're the ones that are going to show you. I'm just going to go through very quickly how Unified Service Desk fits in. So we're going to go through kind of just a brief overview of amazing experiences, and we're going to go right into Ashish and Virag. And then they're going to talk about Unified Service Desk. And then we're going to have a quick panel with a couple of key partners that we've already initiated conversations with, because we know that in the contact center space and customer service space, it's a lot about integration and making sure it works with what you have today. It is also making sure it works with what you're planning to do in your environment. Quick question, who here is in the call center space as a user today? Okay. Who here is thinking about integrating into Unified Service Desk or using it as an application that you can work with? Perfect. So I think you're awesome. In the right session. Okay. I hope you're in the right session. So and then after that. Is this recorded? Yes. That answer was also recorded. So question and answer after that. So we have a lot of material. I'm not going to spend any more time. I'm going to hand it over. I wanted to just make sure we get through some key things about what we're bringing to market. As you can see, I'm flipping right through the slide. I actually just want to end up on this. Okay? So we talked about at the keynote the multi-channel capabilities. You saw that. Unified Service Desk. This is what we're going to cover today. Case management is also, there's a bunch of sessions that Ashish is also going to be giving. I think you'll be very interested in that. And then the knowledge base that came with our Parature acquisition. And I think you've already seen some hints of how we really want to infuse that into everything that you do in CRM. And then, of course, social service. You saw that in our Facebook capabilities. So this is kind of like the overall bucket of our capabilities. Okay? Today, we're going to focus on Unified Service Desk. With that, see, I'm out. I'll give you to Ashish.
Thanks, Michael. My name is Ashish Kothari, and I head the program management team for customer service in the CRM product group. Virag and we are based out of India, but this has been a great event, and I think really glad to see this full house. We'll be around here after the session. I know there are going to be a lot of questions, but would love to get your perspective. This is a brand new product that we're launching into the market. So it's really important for me and the rest of the folks here to get some good insight into how you guys think about the space. Most of you were here at Kate Leggett's session here, so I'll not go too much into in depth about the trends, but I think it was important. It's important for us to lay the context and give you the perspective and the background on how we went about while building Unified Service Desk. So the channel preferences, right? I mean, if you look at it, Kate also talked about it. This is Forrester data. A lot of multi-channel, omni-channel, cross-channel, whatever you may want to call it. That's definitely come into existence, and a lot of people adopting new emerging channels. But I think what is important, I would really like to highlight, is phone remains still till date the most preferred channel. Back in the days of .com, right, I mean, people were saying that you're going to have contact center-less or without phone kind of service. It's all going to be online self-service. But the reality is, 14 years after that, phone is still the preferred channel, and it's out there. And there is definitely a reason assisted mode of support is probably where people feel most confident about. So it is going to play a pretty important role and continue to play a pretty important role over here. Some of the challenges that Kate talked about, again, this is repurposing some of those things, and what we want to talk about is the challenges that agent faces are twofold, right? One is the whole trend around emerging channels, the blended channels. So it's not just about customers just calling in, right? Before they have called in, there are probably multiple different interactions that they've had, maybe on a website, email, social, tweeting, all of those things that have taken place prior to a customer reaching out for help, right? Their preference was definitely online, but they couldn't get the answer and they've called in. So how do you kind of empower the agent to get him that insight? So that is really one of the very important things that we want to kind of address that, right? I mean, and Kate was pointing out it becomes really difficult. I mean, it's really challenging when you have this whole transition taking place. How do you kind of ensure that the context is maintained? And then on the other hand, that an agent deals with is the complexity of the IT landscape. And Kate mentioned an example of a telco. I suspect most likely it was AT&T Wireless back in. And what I realized is there were, for certain issues, there were like 18 applications open on an agent's desktop. I wouldn't say for every call, but there were for certain types of calls, you had 18. 5 or 6 of them were mainframe terminal applications that would be opened up. And this was, I distinctly recall, this call was about a customer disputing a charge that was 4 cycles old. And that information by that time in the billing system, in their back-end dispute management system had all been archived, and the person had to really go through multiple different things. It was just an amazing eye-opener in terms of the loss of productivity. And the guy was an expert in handling certain types of charges, certain types of issues, and you could clearly see that a lot of people trying to wait, a lot of calls were being transferred for him, which would get bounced back. So pretty important for an agent to get that visibility, a unified sort of an experience across a complex IT landscape. If you look at it from a desired process flow standpoint, there's clearly the day and age of emerging channels, right? And multi-channel, you call it cross-channel, those kind of things. But think of it, queues for each of these channels. And at the end of the day, an agent needs to have full context of the customer, not just from one system of record or one CRM application, but a unified experience across multiple different applications. It could be a knowledge management, could be a billing system, could be a core banking platform. And at the same time, organizations expect a lot more productivity, so they're expecting probably, I don't think everyone does that, but they're expecting an agent to handle a phone call and probably a chat, so 2 customer sessions at the same time. So that kind of, again, that's sort of, you want to have a process flow that is anchored on every customer session. And the system then kind of really guides. These are the set of activities and tasks that an agent needs to undertake to solve the customer issue. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and talk about how some of these things are now is what we've looked at in our upcoming release, codenamed Leo, and we're launching the product Unified Service Desk. The design principles when we started on this, 1, a configurable UI, right? I mean, every organization really wants to maximize an agent desktop interface, right? The real estate that you have is limited. You want to kind of have the most relevant information surface up at the right place. So you need a configurable UI. The second thing is around integration with third-party applications. And I would say in this day and age, it's about knowledge residing in multiple different applications, customer information residing in multiple different applications. So having an ability to build that unified experience becomes pretty important. So the integration is pretty important. Notification frameworks, right? So Kate talked about the proactive notification. It's not just proactively notifying customers, but it's also notifying agents about certain things taking place, right? But depending on the type of the case, the category of the customer, what's their profile, having certain notifications for that. Integration with channels becomes pretty important, right? I mean, it's not just about telephony. What kind of, how are the transitions from an unassisted mode to assisted mode, all of those things taking place becomes pretty important. And then it needs to be contextual. Contextual not just from a channel transition standpoint, right? It's also contextual as an agent gleans for information across multiple different line of business applications as well. So that becomes as another pretty critical design principle for us. So this is what we looked at. And we went ahead, and so these are the key capabilities that you're going to see in Unified Service Desk. So it's an integrated agent desktop, clearly designed for offering an agent a unified experience across various different line of business applications. So it's really designed to help them fulfill a customer interaction that can span across multiple different backend applications. Just abstract the complexity and let the agent deliver the best possible experience. Session management, like I said, it's in any time an agent is idle, let them go ahead and look up and serve a particular customer. While they're looking at one particular customer issue, someone calls in, giving that ability to pop up into another session, right? So having multiple different sessions, being able to do that, that becomes pretty important. And it's the information within that session is completely contextual. Centralized management, you want to have one single place to define what that experience is going to look like, what that configuration is going to be, what are the rules that are going to be set up. All of that needs to be centralized. And it's really what we are delivering is again, the time to value, right? So it's the idea was, to the extent we can, reduce the development effort. As much as possible, we'll try to do it via configuration. And Virag is going to walk you through a demo of this. So if you look at the value proposition that USD is going to address, is one around the process complexity. And there was, again, talking about happy agents deliver the best possible experience, right? I mean, really dumb it down, abstract it down for them. And I think that will definitely be one key value prop over here. Satisfaction, really, because, again, you're ensuring that the agent is taking down a specific path of issue resolution. So you're definitely the chances of errors, all of those things getting minimized. I mean, whoever is working in a call center organization, you would realize this. And again, when I've visited call centers, I've seen a lot of agents saying, it's almost like I feel this customer is calling to double check, triple check, just confirm if what he was told by the other agent is right. And probably it's really because they're just not sure. The agent didn't sound sure. He or she did not sound confident. And that partly is also reflective of the fact that there are the systems don't provide the right information. So you really want to kind of reduce the errors there. Average handling time, I mean, right, one of the most important KPIs that every organization looks at that. And if you can deliver this unified experience, it's really going to be a huge increase in agent productivity. And clearly, the agent training time, right? I mean, I think I would say still by far the largest attrition that a customer service organization sees. And if you look at emerging markets where I come from, I mean, it's really 30, 40% is the norm that you're talking about. So how do you scale up really quickly in such an environment? And so this application would help from an agent training time as well. It's going to be very helpful from that standpoint. So if we look at the core capabilities, right? So one, it's a composition framework. And we'll walk you through the demo on that when it's hybrid mode. And what I mean by that is definitely it's going to be an installation on your agent desktop, but it can connect to CRM on-prem or an online instance from where it grabs all the configuration that you do, the rules that you set up. And of course, that would be the main application through which you serve your customers as well. And CRM is a first-class application, and you will see the benefits of that in terms of the configuration, the interactivity that it offers with a CRM application is at a very different level. So in terms of, let me talk quickly about some of these things, and Virag will give you a live demo. that will address quite a few of these things. So ability to configure search in various different entities, right? So you could have these toolbars on an agent desktop. You could easily go ahead and open up a new transaction or a new type of entity within CRM, enable it for search. So this is where we're talking about you do certain configurations on the agent side, on the configuration side, and an admin undertakes that, and then that starts showing up on the agent side. The second one is ability to pull up information from multiple different applications, right? So you could have certain pieces of information coming in from your core banking platform, a billing application if it was a telecommunications environment, and like the main information about maybe the customer information, address, all of those things coming out from a CRM application. Ability to deliver, configure, and set up the call scripts, right? That becomes very important. I mean, I think this is where I think you want to kind of ensure that your agents follow the script. They're following the time-tested processes that you have laid out for your organizations in resolving specific customer issues. So that becomes pretty important as well, and that's delivered as well. And it's an easy-to-configure layout. This is the layout that you're seeing over here is the out-of-the-box sample layout that we deliver. And there are definitely tools available where you could go ahead and change this as well. So some of the things that we talk about on the top, the main toolbar, we have a certain paradigm of how we handle customer sessions. The second level that you're seeing, let me see if I can focus. No. Okay. Those session tabs, so all the customer interactions are at that level. And then for every customer interaction that takes place within this, the various different applications launch here, which is the application tabs. And for each of the applications that you're leveraging, you can basically define an application-specific toolbar for that. And then you have these KPI-driven controls that you could have over here for the timers, like how much time it's taking for the sessions and all of those things. And then we have some of our partners who are going to be available. We are delivering CTI connectors from various ISVs. Context parsing, like I talked about, becomes pretty important from the CRM application to the various back-end line of business applications that you might want to have. So here in this case, for a specific customer, when you click on that, it opens up. So this is a sample line of business application, launches that, and you can see that on the other tab, application tab, there is information that came from CRM. It opened up the Bing map as well simultaneously. That is configuration. And you could also see that associated activities and cases were launched in the lower left-hand panel, came from CRM, and then the line of business application as well was loaded. With this, I'll hand it over to Virag, who will do a demo. Virag, all yours.
Hi, everyone. So Michael and Ashish have laid out.
Okay.
Michael and Ashish have already explained to you what is Unified Service Desk. So now let's quickly go into the demonstration and look at what we are delivering. So this is the application which is launched already for you. And Lisa is our agent. She's working on a particular case where the customer has been delivered a wrong loan statement. While she's working on the case, there are various areas on this Unified Service Desk that we want to highlight. So there is this main toolbar where all the applications that are relevant for the customer service representative Lisa to meaningfully service customer is laid out over there, configured there, so that Lisa can go ahead and open the location of customer in a Bing map, or she can open other applications like the search application or the dashboard in the application tabs that we see over here. And while she is working on it, she has an agent script that she can use to interact with customers over here, where there is text saying that thank you for contacting Woodgrow Bank. And then there are two processes which we have given out of the box to Lisa to run through while servicing the customer. While she is doing that, she gets a call from, say, Maria. So she quickly looks up for a record for Maria Campbell, who happens to be a customer that is already there in CRM. And as soon as customer clicks on the Maria Campbell record, a new session gets opened up. So all the work that she wants to do to service Maria Campbell gets captured in the contextual session for Maria Campbell. So other case that she's working on is totally separate. And now she focuses on interacting with Maria Campbell, who is interacting with Lisa over the phone. So while she's doing that, she gets a prompt saying that you need to speak to your customer by greeting her, saying, thank you for contacting Woodrow Bank. My name is Lisa. How can I help you today? So Maria Campbell says that she has a problem with credit card reward points. She doesn't understand that. So Lisa goes ahead and creates a new service request. Okay. So while she selects the process for new service request, she goes ahead and opens customer details. Oh, so as a process, she is supposed to look at customer information and find out how much revenue potential you have from that customer. So she quickly looks at it, and now she knows that this is a very important customer with a $3.81 million portfolio.
So this is a sample line of business application that we just opened up to just mimic it as part of your process flow.
Right. And then when she goes in and creates a new case, the customer's company is already populated over here. This is configured in such a manner that the account which is linked with Maria Campbell gets opened up over here. And then she quickly goes ahead and puts the case title about credit card reward points or rewards. And then she says this is a case where customer is seeking information. So she goes ahead and selects the subject as information, and then she saves the case. So once Lisa saves the case, the organization Woodrow Bank basically is the organization. Woodrow Bank mandates that Lisa also captures the product for which the case is getting opened and also check whether the customer is entitled to this case or not. So these steps are already captured in the agent script process that Lisa is supposed to follow. So she goes ahead and selects the product. She goes ahead and verifies the entitlement and finds that there is an entitlement, premium entitlement associated with this customer. This is a new feature that we are delivering in Leo, where entitlements can be checked as to whether the customer is entitled to open a case or not.
And then entitlement could have been defaulted as well. There's just an example over here.
Right.
Keep going. Sorry, Virat.
No worries. So she goes ahead and selects searches for knowledge, KB articles, or in this case, we wanted to show some automation with Bing search. So she goes ahead and searches the case title on the Bing search. That's an example where the case title automatically goes ahead and lands itself on the search label of the Bing search. And there, the agent is not expected to type it because the automation is already built in. She goes back to the script and follows and basically engages with the customer, asks what the problem is. Customer doesn't know details of reward points. So while she is speaking to the customer, she is taking notes. So she captures this information and then decides that it will take some time before this case can be resolved. So she decides to immediately send an email to the customer. And for that, she opens an email and then says that, let me send an acknowledgement to the customer saying that I'll send you an email setting the timelines and the expectations with you. So the email template is populated immediately where she acknowledges that her name is Lisa. She'll be able to help the customer with the information, which is the subject of the case related to the case title. And immediately what she does is she also can update the notes. So when she clicks on update notes, what really happens is that the new case that got created, the notes get updated in the case. There you see that. Okay. And then she can go ahead and choose to resolve the case or close the session. So basically, we just wanted to show you that there is a multiple customer serving capability here, and there is an assisted process that the agent can follow to service the customer meaningfully. Now, having done this, what I really want to do is basically go back to a configurability of this unified service desk. This is in sample application. We'll just modify it to include Parature Knowledge on top of it. Okay. Just to give you some brief as to what we showed you in the keynote, what we showed you in the general session for CRM, where we showed some knowledge articles capabilities on top of unified service desk. We'll just show you the beginnings of how we started going about doing that configuration on top of it. Okay.
So I think some of the demos, the foundations of that you saw in the general sessions in the keynote is something that Virag will try to take care, will walk you through how it was done. So go ahead, Virag.
Right. So we'll embed Parature Knowledge into USD. And then, so here first we'll have to create a hosted control. So whatever you saw on the Unified Service Desk, like agent scripts, the applications which are opening up in each and every tab, all those things are encapsulated in an entity called hosted controls, which is an entity on Microsoft Dynamics CRM, which we have imported through a solution over there. So anything that gets appeared on the Unified Service Desk need to be created under a hosted control. Okay. So hosted control are building blocks of the integrated experience that we saw: CRM pages, web applications, line of business applications, etc. Then we need to create action calls to navigate. So because we'll define the Parature, which is a web-based application, as a standard web application. So there are certain out-of-the-box action calls that get associated with standard web application. So we'll create an action call which will tell the Unified Service Desk that whenever a hosted control for Parature is launched, you need to navigate to a particular URL. Okay. Once that is wired in, we need to surface that on a UI component on top of Unified Service Desk. So we'll create and go ahead and create a toolbar button on top of the Unified Service Desk where we can go ahead and click. And when we click, if the association of the button and the action is done properly, what we'll see is we'll see that Parature Knowledge opens up in Unified Service Desk, the same application that we are using right now. Okay.
So I think the idea is, so one, we showed the runtime experience, and now what we want to do is, this is what Virag is going to go through and give you is what that configuration would look like. Just one of the few things that we could, many things that we could do.
Right. So, so here this is a familiar interface of CRM web client, right? So here under session you have all the entities. In that we have one entity called hosted controls. So these are all the hosted controls that we are using in the Unified Service Desk application that we showed you right now. We'll add one more to it. We'll create a new one for Parature. So we'll say that let's host Parature into Unified Service Desk. So we'll create a hosted control called Parature. Like I said, these are all types of hosted controls which are possible to create in Unified Service Desk. We'll just create a standard web application, and we'll make this application global. So when you make an application global, it is basically not shared between sessions. There is only one instance of that application that appears on the Unified Service Desk. If I don't make it global, I can open different instances of this application in each and every session. And then display group. So when we showed the configurable layout of Unified Service Desk, we have defined it into various logical components. So the main frame where all the major applications were opening is called main panel. We'll want to show that Parature Knowledge opens up in the main panel and not in the left panel or the other spaces that we have defined in the configurable layout. So we'll say that let's open this in main panel, and then I'll do a save. And once this hosted control is created, what we want to create is an action call. So we'll go ahead and create an action call saying new. Again, this is another configurable entity in settings area for Unified Service Desk. So here we say that we want to navigate to Parature, and we say the hosted control which should be used to navigate to Parature is Parature.
This is what he just created in the previous step.
And the actions that come out of the box, one of them is navigate. So when you define navigate, you have to provide the URL where you want it to navigate. So I have already set up something on Parature. So I'll just use that URL here. And one more thing that we can configure here is there is a shortcut key. So we can say that whenever the agent presses Control plus Shift plus K, you want this action to fire. So with this configuration, we'll save this action call, and now we'll try to associate this action call with the toolbar. So toolbars can be created for the main application. That the top toolbar is called main toolbar, and toolbars can also be created for other hosted controls that we host inside USD. So if we see here in Unified Service Desk, you can see this toolbar out here where activities is shown. This is a native toolbar in this particular application which shows the case form of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. This toolbar is driven through configuration on Unified Service Desk. So we'll go ahead and edit the main toolbar. Main toolbar currently shows these options: applications, dashboard, my work, reminder. We'll add one more button over there, which we'll call as Parature Knowledge. So Parature, we can associate an image here if this image is stored in the web resources in Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So I have an image which is already there, which I know, MSDY USD _search. And then I want the button text to appear like this, Parature Knowledge. And the order is basically in which, the buttons appear on the main toolbar. So I'll put it as 3. So this should be the third button on the toolbar, though I'm creating it the last. And I want to ensure that whenever anyone clicks on this button, I want to open the Parature hosted control. So I say that whenever anyone clicks on it, wherever you are, come back and show the tab where Parature Knowledge is present. Okay. So I'll save this toolbar button definition. Now I just need to associate that whenever I press this toolbar button, there is some action that gets initiated. There could be multiple actions that get initiated, but for now we'll just say that the newly created action that we just created, navigate to Parature, we'll add it to this button. And we'll save this configuration. So now the configuration for showing Parature Knowledge on top of Unified Service Desk is all done. Now how do the administrator propagate this configuration to all the agents, assuming that there are 1,000 agents who are working using the same Unified Service Desk experience? So will there be a installation step where you go and drop these configurations on each and every machine? The answer to that is no. All that you just need to do is basically do the configuration during the downtime when the agents are not working, and then whenever they'll close the application and restart it, you'll see the configuration manifested on the Unified Service Desk. So we'll use the same application here. We don't have this button here right now, and the configuration that we showed should be used to show the Parature Knowledge button on top of Unified Service Desk. So while this loads up, we'll also talk about configurations on other entities. So you can configure entity searches, where you can prefetch the attributes which you want to define in various interactions. So what we have done is, from the contact entity, we have fetched a full name, telephone number, contact ID, etc. That's why we are able to show all these entities in the session overview place of Unified Service Desk. We can also use this configurable parameters in agent scripts. Where we can use this replacement parameters in agent scripts.
These are sort of, I mean, for those who are familiar with CRM workflow, these are sort of the slugs, if I may, which kind of really are the contextual information that gets passed in the agent script and those kind of things. That's what Virag is doing over here.
Yep. So, so like here, just for an example, what we have done is we have fetched the customer ID name and the subject ID here, which is fetched through the fetch XML query and used in this construct for showing in the session tabs that you saw in the top of Unified Service, top of sessions of Unified Service Desk. So this application is launched, and now you can see that the Parature Knowledge is embedded as the third button on the toolbar. And when we do Parature Knowledge, the Parature page appears over here. The agent can log in into the Parature page and with email ID and password, and then go ahead and look for knowledge. So this is just beginning of how you can integrate Parature Knowledge with Unified Service Desk. With this, basically, I've shown you a very simple configuration that to get you started with interacting with the system.
Thanks a lot, Virag. Thank you. Just quickly want to talk about, this is our first release, but I do want to kind of talk about, we are looking at multiple releases of this coming in, and I wanted to quickly share. I thought that was a fire alarm for a moment. So some of the key areas as we are looking at, we are looking to invest significantly in the notifications aspect of it, and this is really a lot of it is around proactive notifications. We already have some of those capabilities in CRM, but we are looking at specific ways, building specific capabilities as part of the USD infrastructure itself to do that. Some of the configurations that you've seen here, we definitely believe these could be taken to the next level. So the authoring experience, right? You could have where Virag showed to you some of the contextual attributes. Those could actually be an expression builder, some of those kind of things. We're looking at doing that as well. We are definitely looking to roll out the seamless integrations with channels. Some of those will be with our partners. Some of it we will be doing, like for chat, would be a seamless channel that would be delivered out of CRM. And then we are looking at some of the acquisitions that we've made around Dynamics Marketing, Parature, Microsoft Social Listening, all of those having the same benefit of being a first-class application. So the kind of configuration that you set up, and you've seen some of the things, the way we pass information, use the fetch XML query, some of those capabilities, we will be enabling some of those same things so that you could set up these configurations very easily for other solutions from Microsoft as well. With that, I think this is the last slide that we had. Mike, all yours.
Do that again. Ashish, I'm going to ask you a question, and this wasn't pre-planned, so I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, boy.
I know you've been talking to a lot of customers. I wonder if you just take a couple of minutes, just give us a sense of, what are people telling you when you show this capability? What are you hearing from our customers?
I mean, a lot of excitement. I think one thing that really, I've been building customer service applications for the last 13 to 14 years, and what I see is still those problems a lot of service organizations are grappling with, and I truly believe we have a very unique offering. And I think this is something that when we've shown it to our customers, I encourage each one of you, whoever is interested, to sign up for our preview program. It's been a pretty robust feedback. I mean, I think some of the configuration capabilities, the unified experience, that is something that has really created a lot of excitement with some of our customers with whom we have shared this with a lot of information, whom we've given that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you, Ashish.
Yep.
Thank you, Virag.
Yep.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do, folks, is, as we mentioned earlier, we're bringing a lot of functionality right inside Unified Service Desk. We're taking a lot of functionality that we're bringing into CRM. But as I also mentioned earlier, really, we look at this as a platform in which we surface capabilities. So I wanted to just kind of take a few minutes to introduce some partners that we've already been speaking with. And, who knows? You may actually already know them because you're using them in your call center, or, you plan to. So we know that that's the case. So this is something that we're actively moving forward with. This is just the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a few folks. We have here today Manish from Aspect. We have Anne from LiveOps, and we have Stefan from InGenius. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them to come up for just a few minutes, talk a little bit about what they do, what kind of integration have they built with Unified Service Desk, and also basically where they are so you can learn more. Okay, so Anne, I'm going to ask you to come up first.
This is on. Can you guys hear me? Hi, I'm Anne with LiveOps.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Anne, I'm going to interrupt you because our slides, and this is my bad. There we go.
Okay, no problem. So all the great widget that you heard, all that we just went through the last half an hour or so, we take full advantage of it. And what we do is we're a cloud contact center provider, customer service provider. So we take all that information the CRM has to offer, and what we do is we take that data, route them very intelligently, contextually, to the right agent that has the skill set, the performance, and all the right things to be able to give you the best possible outcome right away. And then we embed our solution directly into the Unified Service Desk. So your agent would never have to leave USD. They have everything they need to engage, whether it's a voice, a chat, which is what we do today, but we also provide SMS, social media services, as well as email. And so they can stay right there and engage with the customer. All the interactions are recorded, so the managers can click over to the cloud, so we have no software, no hardware requirements, and they can see everything about what the agent has done. So you can look at the whole macro trends about your contact center as well as how your agents are doing. So here's an example of what the agent will see. So Michael, you're driving, so you may have to click to do it's a bill slide. Okay, sorry. It's getting a little fancy here. So this is a view of the USD on the left-hand side. We actually have to say, we did this, we're a new partner to Microsoft. We did this in about 2 months, which is unheard of, because everything we do is web-based. That's the beauty of the cloud, okay? So what you see there is when somebody calls in, the record pops, and I do the same thing with the chat or social media or whatever the case might be. So the agent get to see the customer they're dealing with immediately, and then they can take action.
Oops, sorry.
You have to go back. So you can actually answer the call. You can, if you don't know the answer, you can conference in a colleague or a group leader and go through that before you transfer the person over. And then you can actually look at a number, and if you have to call back, if for some reason you have a bad telephony connection, click, and it goes right out. Okay, so the agent has a lot of information right there, capability to actually reach out to the customers. And by the way, it's inbound as well as outbound. So the next slide basically go through what the managers are seeing. Well, I'll just describe that. So the manager will log in. They see everything. Okay, so it's voice, it's email, and chat, and all of those things here. They have 77 KPIs. We joke about this at Live Ops, that if you can play solitaire, you can build your own dashboard. Okay, you just drag and drop. It's very easy. Just a little plug of Live Ops. We're based in Silicon Valley. We've been doing cloud contact center and cloud customer service software for over 10 years. And today, company like Symantec, EA, MetLife, Martha Stewart, one of my favorite brands, they run the multinational, contact centers on Live Ops. We're very proud, and for us, it's all about zero footprint. No hardware, no software.
Awesome.
Where possible.
And where are you guys?
We're based in the Valley, Redwood Shores. So okay. those of you know the Valley there.
Okay, and don't forget your booth number.
Oh yeah, our booth number is 110. So when you go out to the exhibit hall, we're like the first aisle. So come and visit us and take a look. Okay.
Thank you so much. Actually, if you can hand it to Manish, that would be great. So, folks, how many of you are kind of cloud-based contact centers today? Okay, fantastic. And we're seeing a lot of movement in that area. As you can see, it's something that we definitely support with Unified Service Desk. I'm going to ask Manish to just kind of give a brief overview. Manish, if you could.
That's okay. I can do it without the slides too, if you want.
Okay.
I'm Manish Chandak. I'm representing Aspect Software. Aspect is probably one of the global leaders when it comes to customer engagement software. 35-year-old organization, 62 of the Fortune 100 companies use us. Out of the top 5 commercial banks, 4 of them use our software. The top airlines, almost all of them use our software. So from a customer care standpoint, we are in 70 countries. 1.2 million agents use our software on a daily basis. And our software encompasses all parts of the customer engagement, all the way from interaction management software, which is all of your call controls and call routings and those types of things, to workforce optimization, which is all of the scheduling of the agents, forecasting, things like that, to call recording and speech analytics and desktop analytics, and then to back office optimization. I think one of the most interesting things for us with USD is the fact that given that we provide a suite of software around all of these customer engagement type scenarios, that we actually have a great platform here to bring that entire suite together in a way that significantly improves agent experience. Also, as we work with some of these global organizations, and small and large, I think what we're seeing is they're using all types of disparate systems. There's not a single organization that is a very homogeneous experience for the contact center. And in many cases, a contact center in the US might be using a different set of routing controls and other things, software, than something in Asia Pacific. And so having something like this allows us to bring those experiences together in all of those scenarios. Today, besides sort of being one of the leaders in the on-prem software, we also have the largest SaaS portfolio in the sense that we're offering cloud-based contact center, and probably one of the few where you can just go and sign up online today and get a trial contact center software in the cloud. So being able to provide cloud and on-prem software, but this type of software allows us to pull all of it together. We're at booth 409 here, and certainly would love to chat with all of you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Manish, I'm just going to ask you a quick question. So from an integration standpoint, just your experience, just share just very, very briefly, how long did it take from start to finish?
Yeah, I mean, we literally just used it for 2 weeks, to be perfectly honest. And in just 2 weeks, we were able to several web properties we had, particularly on agent scheduling, all of those things, those were so easy to bring in, right? Because a lot of those properties were fairly straight, as Virag showed some examples for us to really bring those quickly. We spent about 2 weeks to work on our call control and call routing pieces, and that's kind of what you see a little bit there. We kind of did that in about 2 weeks. A lot of that is, I mean, you know, we haven't fully hardened everything. We certainly want to make this a commercial adapter so that all of our customers can use it. So it's not fully hardened, but the fact that within 2 weeks we're able to make all of the call controls work was pretty incredible.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you. If you just, actually, Manish told me he worked much harder than that, but now I'm finding out it only took him 2 weeks to integrate. We'll have to get you back for that. So coming up is Stefan from InGenius. Stefan, if you just go through kind of what you guys do. I think most people here may not have heard of you, so maybe just give us a sense of what you guys do.
We're quite a bit smaller. So we've been around for 20 years. Actually, we were founded in '86, and we've been doing CTI integrations in various shapes and forms for a lot of that time. Right now, we have about 50,000 users running our CTI products on the new platform, which is called InGenius Connector Enterprise, which we're showing at booth 308. We have about 100 customers. I know it says 50 here. It's a bit out of date, with about 10,000 end users. Our largest customer currently with a Microsoft CRM integration is Grand Canyon University, and I have about 1,600 seats.
1,600 seats.
Yeah.
Cool. Those students are taking calls.
Yes.
Okay.
So this slide here, so basically, we do the same thing that we've been discussing. We do the screen pops and the click to dials. We have a very nice UI that integrates completely in the web browser. It's all HTML5 based. There's no plugins or clients or anything you need to install on desktop. So it's very easy to roll out. Now, a difference from the other folks that were up here is that we actually integrate to your on-premise equipment. So if you already have Cisco UCCE, Cisco UCCX, Avaya, Mitel, or if you have an asterisk box, that's what we focus on. So we bring the functionality right into the browser with just a little server install. And it takes about an hour for us to roll that out if you have a VM prepared on site. And from then, it's a security role as who gets access to this tool. And you're off to the races. Now, for the USD integration, we were able to leverage everything we had already done for our existing CRM integration. Because it was web-based, we basically were able to bring that sidebar that you see right into USD.
And how long did that take?
We were, I think, in Seattle on one of the coldest days recently, February 2nd. And we had a guy on it for about a week and a half to get it to about 90%. It's not 100% hardened, but all the functionality of screen pop and all that is already integrated. So
awesome.
If you want to see a demo, come by at 308.
308?
Yes.
Awesome.
And we'll show you what we can do.
Great. Thank you. So I think what you're seeing now is the notion that we've gone very aggressively around making sure we have the right partners, we have a right ecosystem. This is just the beginning. So, you know, we're very proud and happy that we were able to accomplish this partnership in such a short time. They kind of got the preview releases. We got them in early, and we're working very, very closely with them. And then when it comes time to launch, it's going to be a great, great capability you can take advantage of. So with that, we want to make sure we leave a lot of time for questions. So we're gonna end it here, and we're gonna open it up for Q&A for you guys. Please.
So as we're looking at target applications for this type of integration, should we be looking for RESTful web service-enabled platforms? What makes a good line of business target or third-party target?
So I think, Virag, please feel free to chime in as well in that. I think it's either way. I think the easiest one that I would say is if it's URL addressable. That would be the easiest approach that we could take, and it's, I think, something that works really well. It also definitely can handle if certain class of applications primarily are serving up information on certain API layers, it can definitely do that as well. But URL addressability, that makes it much more easier. Anything else, Virag?
Yeah, so this particular client-based application is built on Windows Stack, WPF framework, so it lends itself well to all Windows-based applications. But we also have adapters for Java-based applications as well. It becomes a little difficult if you go to mainframes and legacy systems.
Okay.
So we're an on-premise CRM. We're on CRM 2011. We want to go to 2013. We use it for case management. What's the? How do we move to this? What's the licensing?
We can. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can cover that at a separate session, and we can cover that with you. That.
It's included in CRM licensing.
So I think the licensing part, I'll let Mike handle that. I think the answer to your question is you have to be on the the upcoming spring update. So once you get to CRM 2013, this is a service pack on top of that, and that's when you'll be able to use it.
Then the licensing, that will be disclosed quite a bit actually during convergence. So you're going to be seeing all of the licensing material coming out.
But it's an additional sort of, it's a premium CRM sort of.
It's what's happening is that it's a different restructuring the licensing, right? So there's basic, there's professional, and there's enterprise. So that's been announced already, right? So unified service desk comes in enterprise. I wasn't trying to be secretive because it's not a secret, but that's kind of how the structure is. Anyone else?
Yeah.
I'm in a very highly regulated environment. So looking at call scripting side, how customizable is that? Forcing users to enter certain things or that also
Right. So right now it's configurable in such a manner that actions can be written on top of it. So the forcing function of whether you want to not let the customer go ahead is everything in CRM, because it's a UI-based agent scripting, and all the data and the cases and the other entities are stored in CRM. So you can leverage the security privileges of CRM to enforce all those functions. But this is the UI capability.
So I think we can have a separate discussion on that. It will involve, I mean, I'd love to understand how some of your scripting works, because clearly I think we see when it's a complex regulatory environment with a lot of permissioning, security kind of things come in, so would definitely like to understand some of those things. But this is definitely configurable now, and Virag clearly mentioned some of those things, but would love to, I mean, I'll be staying back here for some time, would love to understand some of those things that you have as well. Yep.
So in the previous life, I thought that I'd heard that Unified Service Desk was integrated with Operations Center and like configuration management and all that for sites that actually control all the hardware that's deployed, so internal service desk. Is that in this offering at all? Is it
No.
It's nothing to do with Oxcom and click. You can't look at a contact and see which devices they actually have there and how they're configured.
No, not really designed for that. No, not of the operations control, command control, and those kind of things. No.
Anyone else? All right, I just want to say thank you to Ashish for walking us through this, and Virag, great demo. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for coming here, guys. Really appreciate it.